Today I want to talk about buying iPhone 13 or iPhone 13 Pro Max for use in another country. Every year when the latest iPhones come out, I make a video about how US customers can buy the phone directly from Apple unlocked to use with prepaid wireless services in the US. And every year I get questions about buying the phone directly from Apple in the US to use in another country. In my previous video, I showed you how you can buy iPhone 13 or iPhone 13 Pro directly from Apple on apple.com and either have the phone shipped to you or pick it up in the store. So if you don't know how to do that, you can check out that video. One thing I want to point out is that Apple's US site will not ship the phone to you outside of the US. So if you want to buy the phone and order on the website, you're going to need to figure out how you're going to get the phone from the US to wherever you want to send it. Now, you might wonder, why do people want to buy the iPhone 13 or iPhone 13 Pro in the US to use in another country? The answer is because it's less expensive in the US, and it can be considerably less expensive in the US. So I'm here on apple.com. So let's just take the iPhone 13 Pro Max. It's $1,099 US. And then if we head over to the Apple China site, now this is translated into English, you'll see iPhone 13 Pro Max, and that's 8,999 renminbi. And then if we look at the Apple India site, iPhone 13 Pro Max, 129,900 rupees. So I did a little math, and if I did it correctly, we can see what the price difference is. So the iPhone 13 Pro Max, the base model, which is $1,099 in the US, is $632.50 more expensive in India and $310.22 more expensive in China. And if you look at the percentage, it's 57.55% more expensive in India and 28.23% more expensive in China. Now, I use Google Sheets to do the exchange rate. So this is the exchange rate for the day that the video was made. And these are the price differences. Now, if you think about it, that people generally make a lot less money in India and China, and these phones are far more expensive in these countries, that's a good reason for people want to buy them in the US and use them in their home country. Now, before we get started, disclaimer, I don't have an iPhone 13 Pro Max. I'm not going to buy one. I'm not buying iPhone 13, and I'm not going to use one in another country. So I've never done this before. I've never used this phone in another country. But I'm going to tell you what I would do if I wanted to buy the phone in the US and take it to another country. I would check with the local carrier they want to use it with. Make sure you understand what their policies are for bringing your own phone and just overall support for iPhone 13 or iPhone 13 Pro. And then if you're pretty confident that you can use any phone with that carrier, the thing that you're going to be concerned about is the wireless frequencies. What you want to know is, does the phone that Apple sell in the US support the wireless frequencies that are used by that carrier in your country? And the way to do that is to compare the US model of the iPhone 13 Pro Max in this case with the model of iPhone 13 Pro Max sold in your country. And you want to make sure that every frequency supported by the iPhone 13 Pro Max in your country is supported by the US model. So here, let me show you what I'm talking about. When you click on the tech specs for the phone, it'll take you to this page and you'll see all the details about the phone. Scroll down and find the section with the cellular and wireless specifications. And then here you'll see the model number of the phone that you're interested in. Now, in the case of the US iPhone 13 Pro Max, there's just one model that they make for all the wireless operators or carriers in the US, and that's the A2484. And then below that, they list all the different wireless frequencies that the phone supports. Now, what you'd want to do is compare this list of all these bands to the phone from your country. So if we're on the China site, we'll click the technical specifications and scroll down here, cellular network and wireless connection. Now there are two models here, and it's the A2644, that's the iPhone 13 Pro Max, and then here's a list of all the frequencies that are supported there. And it's the same thing with the model from India as well. We'll head over to those tech specs. Scroll down. Here's the cellular and wireless. Now, the model that we're interested in is the A2643, iPhone 13 Pro Max. And here's a list of the frequencies that are supported. So what I did was I copied all the frequencies into a spreadsheet and I correlated them between the models. And from what I can tell, the US model, the A2484, supports all the wireless frequencies used by both the A2643 in India and the A2644 in China. Now, the US model actually supports more frequencies than are used by the Indian and Chinese version of this phone. So, for example, for our 5G and R, you'll see that N29 is supported by the US model, but not the other two models. N71 is supported by the US model, but not the other two models. The US model supports the 5G millimeter wave that the other models don't. And then you can see the difference in LTE bands and CDMA bands, which are still used in the US but are being phased out. Now, you don't really care if the US model supports a frequency that's not supported by the other two phones, because if that frequency was used in your country, then the iPhone model for your country would support it. You really just want to know if the US model of the phone that you're interested in supports the frequencies that are used by that version of the iPhone for your country. Now, finally, my last piece of advice for you is you really might just want to look through the technical specs and see if there's some other feature that the phone supports in your country that is not supported by the US model. One of the differences that I can think of is that the Chinese model iPhones, they support dual physical SIM cards, where the US models support one physical SIM card and then eSIM. So if it was really important to you to have support for two physical SIMs and you were going to use the phone in China, then maybe you don't want the US model. Now, I just went through this for the iPhone 13 Pro Max. I didn't do it for the iPhone 13 Pro or the iPhone 13 mini or iPhone 13. If you're interested in doing that, you can. And I didn't do it for any other models of the iPhone 13 Pro Max. You can do that if you're interested. And I have an article on smartphonematters.com. I'll have a link in the description below. There may be some more information over on the website over time, so check that out if you're interested. All right, guys, that's going to be it for this video, and I will talk to you next time.